What's up YouTube? I'm Josh Newland from Newland Performance. In this video I'm going to explain how to get the most out of your visits to college or universities. So if you've watched my last video on this full guide to college soccer recruiting series I've been doing, I'll link it right here if you're interested in the other videos and topics I cover. But my last video I did on this series, I talked about how to choose and commit to the right school, and I said visits are super important to that. And I encourage you to go on as many visits as you can, as many as you can afford, at least with the schools that you're interested in and are also interested in you going there, because that is the best chance you'll get to really get a feel of the school. So first of all, I just want to explain the difference between official and unofficial visits. It's pretty basic, it's pretty simple. Basically, official visit just means that the school is paying for it. Sometimes they pay for literally everything: flight, hotel, food, tickets to a game or something like that. Sometimes an official visit might mean they're only paying for one of those things or a couple of those things. So if a coach is saying or inferring that we want you to come on an official visit, ask them what they mean by that, what they're going to cover, just so you know what you'll have to pay for and what you won't have to pay for. And that doesn't necessarily mean he's any less interested in you. Maybe he only offers official visits to players that are pretty much going to commit. And a lot of the schools have limited official visits they can give out to people because their budgets aren't that big, especially at smaller divisions. A lot of schools can't really afford that. And an unofficial visit just means they're not paying for you to go there. It'll probably be more of an informal invite of, we want you to come and see campus or meet with us. Basically, the whole point of this video, but all of it will come back around to, is just getting the most out of your visit, getting your money's worth, whether you're paying to go there or they're paying for you to come there. Make your trip worth it. And the 4 big things I'm going to encourage you to do when on visits are to go on a tour, meet coaches and players, meet professors, and then see the town or the area. So going on a tour is fairly obvious. I don't think I've ever gone on a college tour that wasn't free, so it's something you should do. Take advantage of it. A lot of times, even at the big schools, there will be hour and a half at most. And a lot of times a student will be leading the tour, so they know more about it and they can give you more details. And that is your best chance to see the dorms, to see the facilities, like the diner, library, what an average classroom looks like. So take advantage of it, pay attention. Dorms especially, because online they can tell you the dimensions and have pictures, but they're going to try to market it to make them all seem really nice. When you're actually on the tour, they should bring you into the room, explain more about the dorms. So don't just zone out or just have your parents pay attention. You want to think, is this a room I could live in for a year? Think about those kind of things. Next is meeting with coaches and players. And if you're going on a visit to a school that the coaches reached out to you or if you reached out to them, always tell the coach ahead of time that I'm going on tour here and that you'd like to meet with him. Another good time to go on tours is if they're in season, they have a home game that day, that weekend. You can go watch one of their games. Or if it's the middle of the week, ask the coach if you can go and watch a practice. And then part of the planning thing, if it's in season, you're probably not going to be able to train or play with the guys, but try to schedule it so you can show up to one of their practices and watch, and have your parents come with you and see the practice, or go and see one of their games. If it's off season, ask the coach if there's any training you can get in with the team, or like us, we play a lot of indoor soccer, like pickup games. So bring like your soccer gear with you, cleats, indoor shoes if you have those, because this is also another great chance for you to get a feel of other players on the team, how you match up against them, even if it's just a pickup game. That's better than not knowing anything about the other players on the team. And ask them lots of questions. Don't be too shy, because you probably won't get another chance to do that unless you go on another visit. And if you're going to meet the coach on a visit, like I said, you should try your best to make that happen. Make sure you have pre-planned questions for him and just things you want to talk about or ask him about. And try to get a feel for the coaches, because this is your best chance to get a feel for their personality, just their overall demeanor, attitude. And then when it comes to meeting with players, I'd also recommend asking the coach, can I meet with some guys on the team and talk to them or ask them questions? And if they're a good coach or they're really interested in you, then they should already be trying to line those things up. At my school, we do a pretty good job of that. Every time a recruit comes, it seems like at least like a dozen of us on the team meet him, whether that's training with him in a practice, just playing like a fun pickup game with him, having lunch. Most of them will stay overnight, and me and my roommate had probably like 5 recruits or so this year stay with us overnight. But you should be proactive in taking action and showing your real interest. Don't make the coach line everything up for you without you even asking. And then one of my points with this is to stay overnight. I highly recommend it because it's going to give you an even better feel of the campus. On the tour, they're going to try to market it really nice, but to get the most realistic perspective and feel of it, staying overnight is probably the best way to do that. And also try to do that with players on the team. So just get more time with players on the team and away from coach too, so you can ask them questions that you probably wouldn't ask them in front of coach. And this way you get a feel of what their schedules, routines are like, and then see their dorm rooms as well. And then just one thing to be cautious when you do stay overnight, try to avoid going to parties, doing that stuff. Players on the team, it's our responsibility. We shouldn't be putting recruits in those positions, but it does still happen a lot. And I think I talked about this in one of my other videos, but Spencer Moeller, he's another YouTuber, and he's trying to play pro, and he played in college. Go check his channel out. But I really respect him for his honesty. In one of his videos, he explains why he lost a scholarship to Ohio State, because he went out and partied with some guys on the team when he was on a visit. And the next morning he had a meeting with the coaches, and they could tell he was hungover, and he basically they never talked to him again after that. So as a recruit, you probably feel pressure to prove yourself to the guys on the team, but that's just not the way to do it. It's just not smart. Just try to avoid that. Even if you don't participate, just being there can get you in trouble. And you don't want to have to look back and think, if I just made one different decision, I could still have a scholarship to this school, or I could be going to my dream school, or be in a better situation. So that's just some advice I have for you. And then meet with professors is my next big tip. When I visited CSU Pueblo, I had a great visit, and I had a connection with the coach because my grandma knew someone that worked or taught there, and then the person that worked there knew the coach, and they also knew a professor in my field of study, which is exercise science. So I got to meet the head of that whole program, and I got to get a really good overview of the degree plan, how I can choose classes, what the classrooms are like, and explaining more in depth than just on the tour. So that's something I highly recommend. Even if you don't know what your major is, but you have a subject you're generally interested in, history, something math, fitness, sports related, plan ahead of time, send an email to one of the professors in that area, and also ask coach, if they know professors in that area, and they could set up a meeting with you guys. Because whether you like it or not, school is going to be a huge part of going to college, and school can get in the way of you playing if you don't have good enough grades, or it can just make you miserable if you didn't, sign up for the right classes, you didn't do your research ahead of time, and pick the right major, or just learn about the school side of it. So that's something that's kind of in the back of people's minds, or they first things first, they want to meet the coach and play with the guys, or just see the campus, the dorms. But meeting with those professors is one of the best things you can do. And just like meeting the coaches, that's where you get a taste of their personality, and these are going to be your professors, so you want to know what they're like, how they teach, and what the class is actually about. If you've already been looking at classes, the title doesn't give you that great of a description, but the professors will give you a realistic explanation. Then one of my last little tips is I recommend eating there, having lunch at the diner, cafeteria, something like that. Again, at our school, that's something our coaches and us players do a good job of planning. We try to have lunch with almost every recruit that comes in. And if you can, try to do the same. Ask coach if you can do that, because at least your first couple of years you'll probably be spending quite a bit of time in the cafeteria and the diner, especially if you're like me, and you're going to be paying a lot of money for this. So get an idea of how it works. Is it a swipe system, something like that? What's the food like? And that'll also help you make a better decision of what meal plan you want. And then again, just getting a better overall feel of the environment, and you'll get more time to talk to the players if you're eating lunch with them, or talk to the coach if you eat lunch with them. So that's just another little tip I have for you guys. And next is seeing the town or area. If you have a bit of extra time, try and just drive around a little bit. Some other good questions to ask the players and coaches: what's the town like? Are there a lot of good restaurants? Ask guys on the team what they do in their free time, what they do for fun on and off campus. Some places they'll have just about everything you need on campus, and some places, the school itself is marketed of you're near this river, or you're near these mountains, and you can go outdoors and hike here and go kayaking or skiing or something like that. So get a feeling for the area, the town. Some campuses are quite a bit in the outskirts or up on a hill away from the city, somewhere right in the middle of it all. And you're not gonna want to be trapped on campus all the time. You're gonna want to get out, see the city, see the town, go on road trips or something. So just ask people their opinion on it, what they do for their free time. And that'll help you in your final decision, as well as just having a better visit. But overall, make the most out of your visit, get your money's worth, don't waste your time, make the trip worth it. Before you go, if he infers that it's an official visit, make it clear what's going to be covered, what's not going to be covered. If it's an unofficial visit, still just make as much as you can out of it, because now you're paying to go there. So the 4 main things are recommended: go on a tour, meet the coaches and the players, meet the professors, see the town and area and get a feel for it. And then for all those things to happen and for you to get the most out of them, you got to plan ahead of time. Reach out to coaches, professors ahead of time, email them, try to set those cool experiences, opportunities up, and ask lots of questions. A lot of schools, you're only going to get a visit once, and then it might be decision time and you wish, oh, I wish I would have asked more questions about this when I was there. So just assume each visit you're going on will be your only visit, so get all you can out of it. As far as the time range, I think that's best to go on visits, it's probably from the start of your junior year to like halfway through your senior year. Freshman and sophomore year, I think, should really just be more about you becoming the best player you can be and putting yourself out there, putting your name out there. Junior year, you should be getting more responses from coaches, and that's when your list should be narrowing down. You can do more in-depth research on all these schools. And I suggest for those bigger D1, D2 schools, if that's an opportunity for you, you think you have a chance there, the coach is showing some interest, go visit those sooner rather than later, because a lot of those players commit their first chance they get senior year in the fall. Don't procrastinate, but I would schedule those before you go to visit D3 or NAIA schools, because their processes move slower and a lot of those players sign sometimes really late in their senior year. But ideally, if you can get all those visits done before the end of your first semester as a senior in high school, it will make your decision making a lot easier, because that second semester of your senior year can be pretty stressful, trying to figure out all these things to go to school, and all the different factors can overwhelm you. But those are my best tips about how to go on school visits, how to get the most out of them. But I hope you guys learned something from these tips, something that you can take away and apply when you go on your visits. In the comments, let me know if you have any other questions about visiting schools, and let me know what your experiences are visiting schools. What are your coolest, craziest, weirdest stories from going on school visits? I'd love to hear from you guys. But thank you all again for watching, for the support. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. If you want to stay updated on whenever new videos in this series are posted, hit the bell down below. After you subscribe, you'll be notified whenever a new video is out. I'm releasing one every weekend. But thank you all again, and I'll see you on the next one.